Hello, everybody. You are now listening to the Overflow Podcast with Jae and Joaquin. And the boys are back in town. Boys are back in town. Yo, how is everybody doing? Welcome. As always, this is Joaquin.
And this is Jay.
And we are so glad that you have joined us on this week's episode of the podcast.
Word.
Even through all the little technical difficulties last week.
Yeah, I mean, for those of you who listened all the way to the end, thank you.
Yeah, maybe this week. I don't know. It looks like basically it sounds like we have to go get some new cables for the microphones, because I think these have seen better days.
I think they have come to the end of the road.
I don't even know what to say to that. You got me. Anyway, what's up, Jay? How was your week last week? How was your week? Looked like you did some fun stuff.
It was cool. It was okay. It's all right. No, it was good. Yeah, it was good. Like the work week was the work week.
Right.
Weekend was more,
that was the fun stuff.
Yeah, I hate. Remember that song from the '80s, "Working for the Weekend"?
Right.
Right. So, I can honestly say that. I mean, I wasn't working for the weekend, but yeah, the weekend was super fun.
That's funny because I work for the paycheck.
I work for the distraction. But I mean, we are currently going through some home remodeling. Right, so
okay.
We are working on the kitchen, like right now. Well, not right now, but earlier today they came in. They took off the cabinet doors and all that stuff.
So by we, you mean the guys you hired?
Yes. The husband and wife team that we hired.
No, yeah, no judgment. I'm just saying. I get it. So
yeah, no, but my guy and I are gonna put up the backsplash.
Oh well, how nice of you.
Yeah, we're gonna do that together. That's gonna be our little project.
Right.
And
you got some counseling money set aside, right? To the backsplash fiasco of 2019.
So wait a minute, that's supposed to be white and black marble. What's that red on it? I'm coming to bust the lip. Nothing. That's the part of that died. No. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Sunday.
Right.
We got to see John Crist.
Nice. He was in town, right?
At the Fox. Yeah. It was also because of DJ Michael V.
Right.
He's been on the podcast. He is he's family. He's family. So he is on tour right now with John Crist. Like, he's DJing for the tour on the show. And he's actually I don't know if Dennis told you this, but he's actually a part of the show. Like, he is not just DJing and getting the crowd hyped, but him and John Crist have like a little thing that they do together.
Really?
Yeah, where they...
Why would Dennis tell me?
Because he went to see it last night. I saw it in the afternoon. They saw it at night.
Oh, well, I haven't talked to him.
Oh, you haven't spoken to him?
No.
All right. That's right. You just got into town.
I just got into town.
But yeah, him. So John Crist and Michael.
So they have a little riff.
They have a little riff back and forth, and
a little bit.
They bring the crowd in. So I thought that was cool, because at first I thought it was just him opening the show and
just
being the DJ on the side,
music and yeah.
But they actually had this little interaction, and it was dope.
All right,
and it was, and I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna sound mean.
Say it,
but it was actually really funny.
So what? So what I'm hearing is you were pleasantly surprised.
I was pleasantly surprised. Like Magda loved it. She was,
because it would have been great. Because were you backstage or were you up front?
both.
Because it'd been great if you were backstage during the bit, and then in one moment where it gets like quiet, all of a sudden you hear boo.
You're not funny. Get off the
You're
stage.
not funny. Stick to DJing.
No, I was talking about John Crist. Stick to YouTube videos. You suck live.
Videos. Boo. No one likes you.
Oh man, but
Even your mama told me so.
but he was it was actually funny. I actually had a good time, and I didn't know that he's a local. He's from Atlanta.
Oh, you didn't know John Crist was
No, I
from
didn't
Atlanta?
know. And then today I learned something.
Yeah, first time I saw him, his dad was a pastor like at a vineyard church.
Yeah, of the Atlanta Vineyard, like the first vineyard in Atlanta, which explains why he has all these jokes about weirdness in Christianity or in churches.
Yeah. Well, I think me and you could have a whole show.
A whole separate podcast just based on that.
Between your Pentecostalism and my Southern Baptism, yeah.
Yo, but I learned something. So he has this joke
Finally.
that he says about this Jewish family.
Right?
And he says the joke during his show. So
Right.
found out today that the joke, the Jewish family of the joke is our very own Mike Goldstone. The world is smaller than you think.
Mike
The guy,
Goldstone.
the legacy mentor for all things legacy, who used to be Magda's boss.
The
owner of Regency Lighting. Hey, so you know that joke that he says about the Goldsteins? It's actually my dad, Goldstones.
Nice.
I texted Michael. So hey, tell John that I know the family that he's talking about.
and I'm not happy.
Right? And it's not cool.
And not cool, man. Dope. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, of course, I leave town and Jay gets the hook up to go see these shows. I know. I see how it is because it seems to be a theme now. It's like, hey, Joaquin's not around. Let me get the hookup. So I got you, dog. Though I got you, though. I got you.
Actually, I got you. He promised Magda these tickets when he came. When he came to the house for Noche Buena.
Right. Notice people listening. He's saying that now. He wasn't saying that off the air. That's all I'm going to say. He's saying that now. But
seriously,
yeah.
Like he told her.
Yeah, seriously.
He
wink.
He told her, and I turned around and I was like, okay. And she was like, you better not forget. You better not put it in the calendar. So like, and she remembered.
Of course she did.
Like she remembered.
So, of course you did, Magda.
Remember?
Of course you did.
Remember to tell Michael, like, Michael already, like.
He knows.
He already knows. He knows. He told you. He knows.
He called me crying because he thought he forgot. But then he realized he didn't.
So the good thing about it,
and I saw you ran to the At Homes.
The even better thing is that the At Homes also bought tickets for the same show. So we got together for brunch before.
Oh, brunch.
Right? And then we walked over to the Fox.
How very white of you.
We walked over to the Fox, and like I asked Michael to hook us up with the meet and greet, so that they can have the meet and greet beforehand. So he hooked it up, and that's how we were all able to go in and chop it up with him a bit and take pictures with him.
Way to go, Michael. I need to hit him up because he hit me up, but he's always touring. He's always busy. And then when he is in town, it's like on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't hang out, dude. I got things to do. I'm gonna text him. I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna text him. I'll be like, oh, so you hooked Jay up.
Yeah.
But you forget about me.
You totally should. You totally should.
No,
but it was dope. I met his.
I'm gonna tell him the same thing. I got you.
I met his parents, his girl's parents.
Yeah, he posted a thing with his girl. He's like, "Look who came," whatever. Yeah. It was real dark. I could barely see who it was. So I'm like, but then when I finally saw, I was like, oh, "Okay, it's girl."
It was funny because it was really dark, and then like real quick,
all of a sudden she showed up.
She showed up,
like a ghost,
and then she went, and then it was dark again.
He kissed the ghost,
like a vampire.
He kissed the ghost on the cheek. So I said on that picture, I said, "Who's there?"
I know don't see nothing. I don't see nothing.
He's like, my girlfriend. So I sent him a little thinking emoji like, that's dope. Yeah, I was out of town. I was in West Palm Beach.
Yeah, you came back. You actually came back with the color that's not burnt red.
Oh, well, I'm going to tell you what. No, I'm going to tell you about that. My head's still a little red.
Yeah, but you actually tanned. You normally don't tan.
I know. It's because I lost weight. It's not as much grease. Not as much grease to cook.
You had natural sunblock. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. You're your own.
Jay walked out, so I guess I have my bio. I got a phone. He left his laptop and his phone, so I will sell them. So if you hit us up on the page, I'll sell you a cell phone, and I'll sell you a laptop. So anyway, yeah, he did walk out. He probably walked out to go use the bathroom. Yeah, I'm gonna call him out like that. But yeah, so I was in West Palm Beach. For those of you that are still hanging out with me, unlike Jay, I went to West Palm Beach this weekend. I drove down. This is the rough part. I drove down. I left Wednesday afternoon. Drove all the way down to the oh, look who's back. I just told everybody you went to go pee.
Huh?
I told everybody you went to go pee.
I went to take a walk, but I laughed. That was too funny.
So
you're so dumb.
so by the way, I'm gonna announce I'm joining John Crist's tour starting next week.
Yeah, he needs a little more color on that tour.
I'm gonna tell you what.
There's a lot of white comedians with white jokes.
I would probably not last. I would say something offensive. Like,
no, there's a guy in there already who
pretty borderline.
Ooh. Even John was like, yo, you got to stop. It's like, you got to stop. Like, and those were the times that I laughed the most, of course, because I'm very inappropriate.
Because we're very offensive. So here's what I was saying. So I drove down with my folks and Lola, the Chorky.
The dog, right?
The Chorky, yeah. Half Chihuahua, half Yorkie.
Chorky sounds better than your Wawa.
Chorky. Anyway, so we drove down all night, drove overnight. Dude, I'm gonna tell you what though. Talk about committed. We pulled in at 3. We pulled in about 3:30 in the morning, and then I went and worked out that afternoon.
Wow.
On Thursday, and then I worked out Friday, and then I worked out Sunday. I didn't work out Saturday. I worked out Sunday. I didn't get a chance to work out today just because it was just gonna be too busy with getting ready for the for coming back. But went to the West Palm Beach area, Lake Worth. To A, go see my 91-year-old grandmother, and 2, to celebrate my auntie's, very southern of me, my auntie's 50th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
So her and my uncle have been married 50 years. This is my dad's younger sister. This is the sister, and I don't know if I've told this story before on here. I think I've told you. And if I have told it before, you're going to hear it again. This is the sister that when she started going to high school, my grandfather tells my father, right? Because the way it goes was my Uncle Vince, my dad, my Aunt Julie, my Uncle Angel, who passed away, and then my Uncle Sergio. So my dad was, I think, a couple of grades ahead, or maybe 1 grade ahead. But when my Aunt Julie started going to college, to high school, my grandfather tells my father, hey, take care of your sister. Watch out for her. She's your sister. So, goes to school. Well, now this is coming from my Aunt Julie. She's the one that told me this story. So this is why I tend to believe it. So she says that one day she's with her girlfriends and they're walking. I think she was like, they were walking back home. They were walking home after school. And this guy comes up and he's like, oh, hey, tell Speedy, what my dad's nickname Speedy. Hey, tell Speedy, what's up? And she's like, okay, tell him I say hey or whatever. And, she's like, okay. And then another guy was like, hey, aren't you Speedy's girlfriend? So my dad my you know, and so my aunt was like, wait a minute, what? No, I'm his sister. And he was like, oh, Speedy told everybody that you were his girlfriend. That's why, and she was like, that's why nobody would ask me out. No boys would talk to me. So she spent like how many, a few years in high school, thinking that she's the ugliest person in the world because no boys would talk to her.
No boyfriends, no
boyfriend, no boys would, holler at her. And it was because my dad said, that's my girlfriend. You leave her alone. And then my dad's like, yeah, and all the guys thought I was the man because that was my girlfriend and I was going out with other girls.
Wow.
And my dad's response was, hey, my dad said, take care of your, watch out for your sister. So I did. She never had any problems. She never had any problems.
No drama.
Because everybody left her alone. And so that's the end. So anyway, so we went to celebrate with them.
That's dope, though.
And it was cool. It was a good time. Got to see some cousins that
the 50th wedding anniversary is dope.
Not the story.
The story.
I think the story
is hilarious.
I think the story is kind of genius, right? Well, no. So it was cool. Got to see some cousins that I hadn't seen in a few years, and that was dope. And then the coolest thing was I went out with my one of my cousins. She actually lives down there, and we went out. We went out Sunday night. No, we went out Saturday night after the anniversary party. Yo, she took me to this place called Silver Ball Museum, and there's two of them. There's one in New Jersey, Asbury Park, and then there's the one in Delray, Florida. Yo, classic pinball machines and arcade games, and it's like old school. Remember the old school pinball machines from back in the day. Cling, 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 cling. And so we did that. Very dope. So if you're ever in...
Do the pinball machine sound effect again?
Yeah. Cling, 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 cling. Like, dang it! When they like, you they hit the flipper and it goes by and it goes and you're like, dang it! But dude, they had the oldest pinball machine was from 1954. Very, very dope. So if you're ever in those Asbury Park or Delray, like go check them out. Fairly pretty inexpensive. It's like $12 for an hour, and there's no tokens. There's nothing. You just go in. They put a wristband on you. You go in. You hit start on the pinball machine, and you play till your heart's content. And they also had like one of the old Mortal Kombat machines. They had like Madden. They had an NBA hoops game. Like it was just like nostalgia heaven, for old guys like us. So anywho,
old guys like us.
So
speak for yourself.
More like you. Well, you're older than me. You take me by like a good 5 years. I
thought it was more than that.
I mean, you just turned 50, dude. I don't know about that.
No, I'm turning.
You're turning 50. That's right. That's what it was. So anyway, so that was my weekend. I flew in today, Monday. Flew in this afternoon, 8, and then I'm here because that's what I do. I got nothing else.
That's called dedication,
and not having any other thing to do in life. So a couple of stories we want to cover real quick. The first one is kind of the biggest one. So this is I mean, there's articles all over the place. This is from CNBC because this was one of the first ones that I happened to pull up. Paris's Notre Dame, saved from total destruction. The cathedral, the Notre Dame Cathedral in France, caught on fire today, and no one knows why. They according to the article, preliminary report was that it looks like it was an accident, but this thing has been around for 100 something years, 100 plus.
It has to be over.
It's from I'm gonna tell you, it's from like the 1500s. I think it was built in the 1500s. So that's you do the math at home because I was a below average math student. So fortunately, they were able to save some of the artwork and that stuff, which is dope. But let's just man, let's just hope that it was an accident. If what I'm saying, like let's hope that as bad as it was just an accident. It wasn't somebody deliberately, setting this place on fire. Because they were, over the last few months, there's been a lot of protesting in France, where they've done some damage to buildings and to some historical areas and sites and whatnot. So we have that.
Yo, I'm on CNN looking at pictures. It's horrible.
Yeah, dude. It's if you look at the pictures and like even on Instagram, like just the smoke, the billowing, right? The billowing smoke, just shooting out. Yeah, it's insane. It took 400 firefighters to put out the blaze.
Oh my goodness, this shot right here of the steeple actually breaking off.
Oh yeah, yeah. But apparently the two main kind of the iconic columns, like they survived. So
yeah. The thing is, it's so old. So
12th century. The cathedral dates back to the 12th century. Diablo. 12th century. That means it was built
in the
1100s.
So that means that the bulk of it is wood,
or at least the inside.
Right?
Yeah,
the insides, the steeple,
like
the
me.
things on top.
The insides are wood.
The insides of you are stone.
Oh, thanks, man. Stone. I'll take it. I figured you'd be like goose feathers, foam,
stone, heart of stone,
heart of stone. I'm a heart of stone. Duran had hands of stone. I have a heart of stone. All right, so that was going on. The other big news that came out this last week was one that me and Jay kind of were kind of like, but Disney finally announced their video service,
Disney Plus.
Disney Plus, man, they're coming in with a killer price. Like I don't care what anybody says, $6.99 a month for the amount of the amount of Disney content you're gonna get. That's gonna hurt their channels. That's gonna hurt the Disney channel because you could just say I'll reduce my package, and I'll just pay the $6.99 for the Disney Plus. Yeah, man, but they just announced. Hold on a second, guys. I'm crackling here. All right, there we go. So they just announced the Disney Plus, and they announced new Marvel and Star Wars series. Which the funny part is that when Jay and myself were talking earlier, we were kind of like, of the Marvel stuff, the only one that we're really kind of interested in is titled Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because it's got
Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But then they're also, well, I was gonna say Mackie and what's his name? Sebastian Stan. So, like it was like, oh, that's cool. That's cool. Like that's the only one interested. They got some shows, and then they also announced Star Wars live action, The Mandalorian, which me and Jay were like, meh. And then we saw who the showrunner was, John Favreau.
Which we can just jump right into.
And then we were like, yeah.
If you have not been living under a rock or on tour like RG, then you have had seen the new trailer to The Lion King.
Right.
Which is breathtaking.
Yeah, it was so good. But you know what, though? Like, I mean, dude, he did The Jungle Book, which was awesome.
Yeah, I know. Of all these live action, The Jungle Book has been my favorite.
Yeah, like, and remember when it came out, my whole argument was they better sing Bare Necessities. They better sing. If they don't sing Bare Necessities, I'm going to go destroy the film. And Jay was like, dude, that's a lot of film to destroy.
That's a lot of film.
I will make it my life's mission. Yeah, so.
Dude, like this new, you see, man, yo, it's, yeah, anyway.
No, the best part, okay, so honestly, for me, the best part of the Lion King official trailer was that they finally gave us Timon and Pumbaa. That's it. That's all.
Scar.
That's all I cared about.
Scar looked amazing.
Well, they showed Scar in an earlier teaser, I believe.
I don't think they did, but maybe I didn't see it.
But yeah, no, so let me ask you this. I don't know, this might be too controversial.
Uh-oh.
So remember...
Oh, wait, before you do that.
No, you know what? I'm going to leave it alone.
And the fact that they brought back James Earl Jones to voice Mufasa.
Right. Dude, listen, the reality is, if Mr. James Earl Jones wasn't around, all they had to do was pluck the audio from the cartoon.
That's true.
That's all they would have to do. And then everybody would be like, oh my goodness, James Earl Jones. Wait a minute, he did. So yeah, so anyway, that's gonna be our trailer of the week, The Jungle Book.
The Lion King.
The Lion King. I was thinking of The Lion King. So check it out. And then all right, two last things. So we'll do before we jump into what Pastor Jae has for us. Let's do this. We're gonna go ahead and then we'll do the song, and then we'll do this article that Jay sent. That was kind of hilarious. So the song of the week is by a female rapper, and I'm either gonna say her name right or wrong.
No, I told you what her name was. You've been saying it this whole time.
Like I pay attention. Wande or Wande.
Wande.
It's Wande. Wande. Anyway, Wande. The song's called "Blessed Up." There's a short, kind of like a music video teaser, I guess. And then, but then the full song will be on the Spotify playlist.
Yeah, but we have to celebrate the fact that Wande is the first female artist signed to Reach Records. Right, we haven't had a female hip hop artist signed to any label for like 15, 20 years.
Probably 15, 20 years. Yeah.
Right, because there really aren't that many hip hop, Christian hip hop labels. Anymore. Yeah.
So for those listening, I'm not just naming female rap, but me and Jay had a conversation because I don't like when people don't. Context matters in a lot of stuff. So when people are like, oh, she's the first female rapper signed to a major label, and I was like, no, that's not right. Like there's been other female Christian rappers that were signed to labels. Maybe not big labels, but they were signed to labels, and they did get some national distribution. And so me and Jay were talking about, well, what? We're trying to think of who they were. And I just right now, my brain just went, L-Rock.
Yeah. I forgot about L-Rock.
She was dope too.
But before there were more Christian labels, so like Christian hip hop labels.
Right.
Now there are only 2 in an imprint.
They're small. Right. Well, nah, you know what? This is what I would say. This is what I say. There's probably the same amount of labels, but with the way distribution has changed, you only because back in the day.
Let me correct that to say 2 major.
Right. There's really 2.
Because that's true. Because Elect is still around.
Right. Elect is a hip hop label, but they're a smaller boutique.
Right.
Right. Christian label. So they're still there. I think back in the day, like when you had Diamante.
Okay, I remember Diamante.
Remember, like they were the ones that distributed a lot of this stuff, a lot of the Christian hip hop. Going through Diamante, right? Like they were the ones getting them into all the Christian bookstores, and they were the ones that. So now the distribution model has changed so much in the last 15 years that a lot of these smaller labels aren't trying to get into stores. It's all about streaming. It's all about getting on iTunes and Spotify, and because that's the YouTube, because that's the best way to kind of get your stuff heard. So. But major Christian label, Wande got signed to Reach Records, which is dope. I don't know anything about her. I think this is when we listen to the song "Blessed Up."
Yeah, I think we need to go back to coffee instead of the soda.
Why?
Because we both keep burping a lot.
When "Blessed Up," It was the first time I think I've ever really heard her. I thought I had heard of her before, and what it was is I'd seen a couple of videos posted here and there, but I never listened. I was dope. It's that new style, you know, but it was dope. It was dope.
Yeah. I've known her for a while,
so we're excited. Excited for her.
I put on her music for the kids. The kids love it.
Right. So dope.
But it's still something worth celebrate, right? Because we know a lot of female rappers that haven't been signed, feel that should be signed.
Right.
A lot of female rappers that we feel should have been signed, should still be signed, right? But regardless of anything, or regardless of where you are here, right? We should still celebrate the fact that she was signed. Like this girl was signed, and she's dope. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna hate saying it. But I'm gonna say it anyway. You know, she's not a gimmick. Like the girl can rap. Like she's
like gifts and stuff.
Like she's got bars. Right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I feel bad for saying what I said, but you took the you.
I don't feel bad for the joke.
You took the spotlight away because that wasn't even a joke.
I don't feel bad for the joke.
A joke is supposed to say funny.
Be offended. Anyone who listens knows I'm being dead serious. Lee not.
Yeah.
No, but she got bars.
Yeah, she's got bars.
According to Jay. So I'll check it out.
Yeah, she's got bars. She's dope. She's dope.
I'll listen later on. I will listen later on.
She's dope. And she's like super cute, super humble. So
there we go. So is she married?
No, she's too young for that.
She's too young to be married. So fellas, leave her alone. Leave her alone.
She's got a lot of older brothers now.
How old is she? She's got to be like 20, 21?
Probably. Let me text her.
All right, so what we gotta do is RG single, right?
You stupid.
Little power couple here. Little rap power couple. A little Alicia Keys, Swiss Beats kind of power couple going on here. Little Jay-Z and Beyonce. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So anyway, so excited for that. The video will be up on the website, and then as always, the song will be on the playlist. If you look for the Overflow, if you look for the Overflow podcast playlist, and we'll have the link for the playlist everywhere. Also, so all right, let's talk about this article that you sent me, and then we'll jump right into what you want to talk about. So go ahead, talk about this article you sent me.
Wait, I gotta look for it now. Oh, here it is. So I get emails from Relevant Magazine.
I do too.
And every now and then I read them.
Me dos.
Sometimes.
And really, we should be really reading them a lot for content.
Yeah, sometimes I just delete them. Right? Because I'm like, I don't have time to be relevant.
But we'll read. But it's funny though, right? Because I get church leader stuff, and I'll open that up.
I don't either.
You know, I'll open that up when I see an article I'm interested in.
Even the church leader stuff, sometimes I just like, nobody got time for that, and I'll delete it. Sorry, hold on. RG's texted me. Post tour stuff. But I saw this headline. It was the subject of the email, so I was like, oh, okay. Right. Let me see what that's about. Because sometimes Relevant is kind of funky with their articles, but this one caught my attention. Right, so it's the headline is what your pastor's sneakers say about their theology.
Nice.
Oh my goodness! And I thought that was interesting because
because Jay's a pastor and he wears sneakers,
and I've been like I would get into, if you're se me escapa la palabra contra. If you're a regular listener, then you know bits and pieces of my being raised legalistic. So my wearing sneakers to preach or to minister was a part of my rebellion when I was younger. Right?
Yeah. Wow.
So
it's so funny to me. I can't understand like that. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't compute for me to think that wearing sneakers is a form of. But we'll dig into that later. I'm just saying, like it's still funny to me.
Right, and then my oldest daughter, Milena, she would when she was, I think she was young. She was young, like 14 or 15. She was like, you know what, Dad? I think it would be better since you preach mostly like to young people.
Right.
If you just preach in your chucks, like preach in your sneakers. Just preach in your sneakers.
Yo, that's funny that you said your chucks.
Yo, no, it's funny because back then we used to wear chucks all the time.
Right, but I'm saying because
no, I know. That's why I laughed. I was like, I'm on here twice. Right, so we would put through the list, right? So the very first sneaker that's on this list is the Air Jordan 1S, which is like my go-to. Right, that's my go-to right now. Like I'm wearing the Phantoms right now.
Yeah, I don't.
Those are
the original ones, right?
As we're doing this, I'm wearing the Phantoms right now.
That was the original design, the Jordan 1S.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I got a pair of all blacks with the white soles. I'm wearing the Phantoms right now.
Right.
And it says, seen on everyone from Miles Morales to Michael Jordan in '85 to Stephen Furtick. I actually had to Google to see if Stephen Furtick did wear these.
I had to Google who Stephen Furtick was.
These timeless favorites have barely changed since they debuted more than 30 years ago. In other words, they signal old school theology, fundamentalist leaning teachings wrapped in an ever so slightly updated delivery. And I was like, yo, that explains me better than a freaking horoscope.
Horoscope.
Horror. I say horror on purpose.
Horror.
So, because you remember like when we talked about, yo, maybe I should send some writings and stuff to Relevant, and you're like, nah, man, yeah, you're a little bit too fundamentalist.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm a little too.
But it's wrong though because it says fundamentalist leaning. Mm-hmm. You're more like fundamentalist sitting. You're not leaning.
I'm more fundamentalist laying.
You're like you're like in bed with the sheets up to your
fundamentalist sheets
up to your neck. The sheets are pulled up to your face.
With a big old smile on
with
my
a
face.
big old stuffed
right?
like Bible next to you, like a stuffed animal.
I have a Bible in
family Bible.
Some people have guns under their pillows, like you see in movies. I got a little Gideon guidebook under my pillow. Anyway,
daggers.
Next, Nike Air Monarchs.
All right,
right, the ultimate dad shoe, perfect for cutting the grass, wearing with the polo tucked into jeans, or on the foot of Matt Chandler. Right, favorite for sensible, no nonsense reform sermons. I don't remember seeing anybody with these at the Legacy Conference. I don't think I was paying attention.
Yeah, I don't think.
Next, Yeezys. Right? Let me see. Recently promoted youth pastor who might have started off with traditional theology, but has begun dabbling in Richard Rohr podcast. You looked up who Richard Rohr is, right?
Yeah, he's a friar, Franciscan guy who, like what he says, like on the surface, what he says sounds like, yeah, like care for the marginalized. Yeah, everyone is searching for God in them, but on the surface. But then when you kind of read how it's worded, the divine, right? The kind of that mystical divine, and you're kind of like, so yeah.
That matches.
Yeah,
Crocs.
Yeah. Heretic,
stay away. Jesus sandals. I thought this was funny, right? Typically seen only on the feet of praise band bass players.
Very, very specific group.
These are also a favorite of bearded preachers who like to talk about the cosmic Christ, an emerging gospel, and are always guessing what Enneagram number you are.
Right. And I had to look Enneagram up, and I still don't know what it is, but
yeah, it's crap. Anyway, Off-Whites. Nike Off-Whites.
Ooh.
Nothing says prosperity gospel like donning these exclusive high-dollar streetwear staples. Name it, claim it, and remember never to take off that red tag so people know that they're the real thing. Yo, I've looked these up. They're hella expensive.
So are these like Jordans too, right?
Yeah. But they're designed a little differently to make them look a bit deconstructed.
Okay.
Right. So you see the Nike, the logo, the swoosh, looks like it's stapled on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see that.
And it's got the splatter and all that. So yeah. Those weird sneaker dress shoe things. This is Joaquin.
This is what I like to wear.
What does it say?
Heretic.
Duh.
But you know what? My cosmic Jesus don't love you no ways.
Fancy cowboy boots. I've not ever seen these on anyone in any place that I've gone to, as far as like conferences or churches or
because you don't hang around what it describes.
Typically accompanying slightly bedazzled, brightly colored suits, and for the men, possibly a bolo tie of some sort. These are part of the faith-healing, tent revivalist, washed-up televangelist uniform.
Yeah.
Televangelist.
And
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that.
Yep.
And then we're back to the old me, the Chuck Taylors.
Chuck Taylors.
If a preacher is wearing these, it means that theology hasn't evolved since early 2000s, when they last went to Cornerstone and were super into blue like jazz. Now, in my defense, I've never gone to Cornerstone.
And I've never read Blue Like Jazz.
And I never read Blue Like Jazz.
Saw the movie, though.
I tried to watch the movie. It was too boring.
I read the book.
I never heard of it until you told me about it.
I read the book. I mean, it's a good read. It's if I remember, it's very much of its time, right? I think. But it is a pretty good read.
And I was wearing these since before the early 2000s because I'm old.
Right.
Gucci shoes.
Gucci.
Theologically, these high-end kicks mean the pastor is into self-help oriented sermons about feeling good, doing life together, embracing the mess, and spending your time and money on things that will ultimately make you happy, like $620 Gucci shoes.
Oh my goodness. If I bought 600, I was telling you.
Then I know you either sold a kidney or won the lottery.
Well, if I ended up buying $620 pair of shoes, I would never wear them. And then people would be like, "Why aren't you wearing them? You bought shoes; they're to be worn." I'm like, "Yeah, but they're $620." I mean, I buy the cheap shoes. I don't care. Anyway, all right, Jay. All right, so anyway, so that's the so where do you fit in theologically in the shoe wars? Are you a heretic like me? Or are you a fundamentalist like Jay? Or so if you wear Adidas, you're an agnostic? Is that
You're a Nazi.
A Nazi? Yikes.
Adidas or Puma, you're a Nazi.
You're a Nazi. Yahtzee.
Did you know about that?
Yeah, they were brothers.
They were brothers, yeah. Two Nazi brothers.
Who had different ideas for the footwear of the Aryan nation.
Anyway. No, actually they did one sneaker together. I don't remember if it was Adidas or Puma first, but then one of them got arrested for being a Nazi, and he thought that it was his brother that snitched him out. So he went, when he got out, or whatever happened,
right?
He went and he started his own sneaker company to compete against his own brother.
So if you are a hardcore social justice warrior, do not be wearing
Pumas
or Pumas. That's my political talking point of the day. All right, so Jay. All right, now it's time for Pastor Jay's Corner.
Pastor Jay's Corner.
All right, man, what you got for us this week?
All right, so
don't cry.
This week I've been I don't know what it is that all of a sudden I'm sniffling. So I don't know what it is, but I do know what it is. But I've been thinking about how do I help? How can we, right? Well, I was thinking about myself first, but
right.
Now
don't ever include me in your nonsense.
Now I'm gonna think on the collective we, as in the body of Christ.
Well,
how do we help people who struggle with sin? Right? Most times we tend to either ignore it,
right?
Ignore our own struggle, or we can see we point out other people's struggles,
correct,
but we do it in a way where we don't acknowledge our own struggles. Right? So I was talking to my wife, of course.
Of course.
And
confessing. They were having confessional night. They built a booth for it and everything.
No, we weren't. But we do tell each other things, but no.
Bean was wearing the little smock, and he was in there.
He was
giving out the Hail Marys.
He was in a cardboard box. Actually,
he was like, "Papi, tell me your sins."
You're so dumb.
But anyway,
actually, it started because of a prayer that Bean said.
Okay,
ready? So he had been like acting up in school lately, and so every night, like I mean, you know that, and then you saw it when we FaceTimed earlier. Every night we pray before he goes to sleep. So I read a Bible story in his children's Bible, and then we pray. I'm teaching him the Lord's Prayer, right, so that he can know it. And then as he grows older, I'll teach him the meaning and the power behind it. But right now, I'm just teaching him how it goes. He almost has it.
Almost.
But
he did almost have it.
But so one evening, we went through the Lord's Prayer. And then when we were done, like we say our good nights, he says bendición, and we, take him to bed and he can go to sleep. But then I was like, all right, we're done. Say good night and bendición and dobranoc, because it's got to be all three languages. And dobranoc to mommy.
Arrivederci, right. All that stuff.
And then he got back on his knees and he started praying again, right? And his prayer was, I don't remember word for word, but basically it was like, God, help me be a good boy in school, right? So that help me listen and help me not like kick or throw things at kids, because that's specifically what he did that day, right? And you see and you hear that, and you see and you hear the genuineness of it,
right,
and the sincerity of it, right? It does something to you. So he acknowledged that he was having a hard time in school, or being the bad kid in school. Right? No, but the thing, but as a dad, ready? So as a dad is this. So it was this new kid in his class, and I guess it was like prison rules, like, want to knock out the biggest guy,
toughest
right?
guy, right?
So apparently he's been messing with Bean for a while, and I think like Bean just had enough. This is according to the afternoon teacher. It's like he just had enough, and he and the kid snatched the toy away from him. So he went and he took the toy back and he kicked him. So it's like as a dad, you're like, hey, you shouldn't do that.
Shouldn't do that.
Like, you shouldn't hit. And then on the side, you're like, yeah, that's right. He defended himself. Right.
Right. But you don't tell him that.
No, of course not.
You can't tell him that.
You can't tell him that. But I tell him that. I'm like, at least he defended himself. You're not gonna be a pushover.
Next, he needs to start defending himself from Sonia.
He's got the only scratch under his eye from this morning. Oh my goodness, that's a story for after the podcast. Pero, so when we left him in the bed so he can go to sleep, and we got downstairs, we start having that talk, right? Like you can, if you see things through the perspective of the innocence of children,
right,
then you can really understand why Jesus said that we have to be like children in order to accept, right, and in order to come into the kingdom of heaven,
right?
Because I think that of course, being hurt, whether by the church or by Christians or just by people or just by life in general, we as adults, we tend to see things from a hurt or cynical perspective. So even our faith is filtered through that, right? Through our jadedness and our cynicism. Right? So
right. That's very true.
Right? So instead of being all trusting, right? Well,
what's the motive?
What do they want? What's the reason? So
when are they going to ask me for money?
Right? And it's funny because my mom and my grandma used to say, No, you do what God leads you to do. Whatever they do with that, that's between them and God.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds great when it's not your money. Right. But then again, there's that cynicism. Right. So it's right. As an adult, it's hard to have that faith in God because life.
Right. No, that's like when we were, me and my dad went to Walmart this past weekend, and as we were walking out, this kid comes up to us and he's like, hey guys, you know, my name's so-and-so and I'm part of this like rehab house and we're selling these cakes and, you know, to fund the rehab house. I've been clean for a year and I'm just trying to, you know, get my life together and, you know, and want to get through this rehab thing, this house and and it was like, I got these cakes, I got these flans, you know, they're like $5 and, you know, and I never have cash on me, so I wasn't going to buy anything. I was never going to buy anything anyway. But my dad was like, well, how much is it? $5? And he pulls out $5 and he gets this flan de coco.
Yeah.
They said it was good too. I didn't have any, but they said it was good. And
of course you didn't have any.
Well, I forgot that they had got it. Anyway, so because I love flan. So I said to him, I was like, really? You believe that? You believe that? And my dad's like, yeah, I choose to believe that, you know, that he seems genuine and that it's true and that, you know, that this, you know, just by buying this little cake, it's going to help him, you know, be able to move on with life. And that's a perfect example of what you're talking about. Because I was like, even if I had the cash, I'd have been like, nah, dog, I ain't got money for you.
Yeah.
You know, and my dad's like.
Yo, I remember one time at the Walmart by my house, I was like, these three guys came up to me. Hey, you know, just trying to make this music and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and they had CDs, right?
Right.
And yo, like no lie. Especially since I'm involved in the music industry. I'm like, yo, come on, guys. It's like, come on. I mean, at least try to sell me like some candy or something. Like nobody has CDs anymore, man. Everything is digital now, right? Yo, so yeah, I know, but you know, we just try to like raise funds, whatever. Yeah. All right, let me see these CDs, right? Let me see these CDs. And when he gives me CD, he shows it a CD. It was. Oh my God, I feel bad now, but I mean, I made up for it. It was Christian hip hop. Like it was Christian hip hop, and I was like, and I saw it. I was like, God, this and you know, Lord. And I'm like,
are you guys Christians?
It's like, what is this? Is this Christian hip hop? Yeah. But you know, but it's good. It's good. It's like, all right, how about this? I was like, all right, how about this? I normally don't carry cash, but I got $10 in my pocket. So here, take the $10 and give 2 CDs away to the next people that walk past you. Right. All right? I'll fund this. I'll help this. And I'm sorry for being a jerk.
Yeah.
Because that's normally the...
And then you walked away and went like, you know...
Your first reaction.
Hail the Darth Lord.
You're so dumb. No Darth Vader. But anyway, right? But we tend to forget, right, that we...
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever sin it is, like we all struggle with something, right? Yeah. So, you know, I'm bringing in 2 biblical references when I'm talking about this and when I thought about this. Right, I'm bringing in Romans 7, right? Paul in Romans 7 when he talks about the duality of his struggle, right, with the thorn and with the sin or whatever it is, right? And he says, "Oh wretched man that I am, who will deliver me from this body that is subject to death," right? So it's like the things that I want to do, I don't do, but the things that I don't want to do, these I do. Right? And we are I don't care where you are in your walk, that resonates with all of us.
It should anyway,
right? With all of us. Yeah. Whether you are first starting your walk, whether you're a veteran, right? We tend we to slip and fall on our face and either say things that we shouldn't say that don't reflect Christ, respond or react in a way that doesn't reflect the love and the grace that God gives us, right? And then on the other hand, I bring in, once again, I mean, these 2 will always be a part of this podcast. I mean, the entire Bible, but especially these 2, right? We bring in James, the brother of Jesus, who in the first chapter of his book
of James,
right? Well, he says, hold on, I don't want to misquote.
He said, "Listen to a little story that I got to tell about my brother named Jesus that you know so well."
Oh my goodness, who is that? Like, who is that for real?
I have no idea. I just made that up on the spot.
No, you didn't.
Freestyle. Now the cadence was from somewhere else.
Okay, so James 1:2 says, "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds." Right? And 3 says, "Because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance.
Perseverance.
Let perseverance finish its work,
right,
so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." Right? So the title for this lesson is Trust Your Struggle. Right? Because sometimes we see or the defeatist in us, the defeatist part of us, which is where the devil strives, right? The devil strives in the way when he tempted Jesus in the desert, right? Yeah, yo, you're hungry. Why don't you take these rocks and like make yourself some bread, right? Right. So the devil lives in your weakness. The devil, that's where he makes his home, and then he reminds you of the shortcomings, because it's easier to fall back into the shortcomings, or it's easier to fall back into what the Bible describes as familiar sin than it is to get up and recognize, I'm a wretched man, as Paul says in Romans 7. I'm a wretched man. This is what I don't want to do. So Lord, give me the strength to do it, because you continue on in Romans 7, and he says, right? He says, "Thanks be to God who delivers me through Jesus Christ our Lord." So there is deliverance. God understands, and he recognizes, this is what you've been struggling with, right? But that's where discipleship and self-discipline comes in, right? He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind, right? So the deal is that, Romans 7:14, Paul says, "For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am of the flesh, sold under sin." Right? And then Romans 5:21, he says, "So that as sin reigned in death, grace also might reign through righteousness, leading to eternal life through Jesus Christ our Lord." Right? So Paul is funny. Paul is like the greatest of apostles. He has the most books or letters written in the Bible, right? And he calls himself, or he refers himself as the worst of all sinners, right? The worst of all sinners, right? 1 Timothy 1:15 says, "The saying is trustworthy and deserving of full acceptance, that Jesus Christ came into the world to save sinners, of whom I am the worst." Right? So,
well, he had
right? So, right. Yeah, by next week we're going to buy new cables.
Hello?
How about the other side? Right? So even as believers, right? 2 Corinthians 1:8 says, "So we do not want you to be unaware, brothers, of the affliction we experienced in Asia, for we were so utterly burdened beyond our strength that we despaired of life itself." Paul knew, right? And he knew that, hey, life was going to be tough.
Correct.
And that we were going to have problems, right? I mean, even he had it so much that he despaired with life itself. But God has delivered us and will continue to deliver us, right? On him we have set our hope that he will deliver us again. That's 2 Corinthians 1:10, right? So if we take all of these things and all of this stuff that Paul teaches and Paul taught in Corinthians and in Romans 7 specifically, right? And we bring that with what we just read in James chapter 1, verses 2-4, to count it all joy when your faith is tested, right? Because we go back to James, and James 4:7-8 says what? "Submit yourself to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you." That's 7. 8 says, "Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded." Right? So the thing is, a lot of us feel that that if the struggle is too much, then, we must be doing something wrong, right? And God must be far from us because, oh no, well, this is too hard, right? But, if you don't struggle, you don't grow. You don't build your endurance. It'll be harder for you to succeed. Like if you're a hurdle jumper, right? And when you first start out, you're not jumping high enough, you're falling on the hurdles or you're knocking over the hurdles, right? You don't quit. You keep going. You keep practicing. You keep running. You keep jumping. You find workouts, exercises, ways to give yourself a higher vertical so you can jump over the hurdle. Like right now, Joaquin's struggling with the mic and the cable. He's still trying and still working so that he can get it working so you can hear his radio voice.
I'm dead. Yeah, I'm dead.
Right? So
I'm dead.
Right? As Christians, we are in this sinful world, but not of it. But the thing is that being in this sinful world means that we have to deal with the sin of this world. But since we're believers, since we're Christians, we have to trust our struggle because our struggle will build our faith. Right? James tells us, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And the best thing about perseverance, let me read to you what perseverance means, because a lot of us don't know what perseverance means. We know you can read the word. We don't know what it means. Right. Perseverance means persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. I like one of the synonyms here that they have in the definition. It says staying power, right?
Staying power?
Right? So it's like, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces staying power, right? And that's and if anything, that should give you hope. If anything, that should give you like some peace that although you might be struggling now, it's doing what it's doing is refining you and building your faith and your staying power, right?
Correct. Oh, I'm back.
Hey.
There we go. Yes, everything that Jay said. There I am. I'm back. Yeah,
I thought it was a cameo appearance.
So, yeah, everything that Jay said. So, what Jay said. Go ahead.
Right, so...
And yeah, we got about another 5 minutes.
All right, so we bring that into Psalm 30, Psalm chapter 30, verse 5, that says, "For anger is but for a moment, and his favor is for a lifetime." Right? Weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning.
Yes, it does.
Right? Struggle may last for a night, but joy comes in the morning.
We get. I don't know if you can hear me. But we also get new mercies, right, every day. So that's kind of joy, new mercies. It's what is it? It's always darkest before the light. Right, the dawn. So I mean, all these things. But the one thing I will add to say this is also that part. I think it's just being like saying like, yeah, Paul, he had his struggles, right? Paul. But here's the thing: Paul admitted that he had his struggles, right? He admitted his struggles. He admitted it in a very public way. And I think a lot of times what we want to do is we want to take our struggles and we want to keep them in. And yeah, we want to struggle through them, but we want to struggle through them alone. And Paul exposed them to the light. And so I'm not saying go around telling everybody your problems, and your struggles, but it is a good thing to have a group of people that you can, open up about those struggles so that you can give them light and air so that they can be exposed, so that those that can help you get through that thing, they can help, you know what I'm saying? So they can help you get through that struggle or through that sin, so that you can come out of it at the other end, and not deal with it alone. Because that's the thing, we all want to deal with our struggles alone. Either we want to deal with it alone, or we tell everybody our business, right? So don't tell everybody your sins, don't tell everybody your business, but have that group of friends, have that core group that you can share and that will love you, encourage you, lift you up, call you out. Just listen if that's what needs to happen. That know you enough to know when they need to do one of those things for you.
Right. So in closing, I want to leave you all with this. With Psalm 37, verses 3-5, it says, "Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and befriend faithfulness. Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act." Right? So, I mean, the the Christian walk is not the glamorous life, right? It's everything but, right? But with that, with all that understood, let's listen to James. Let's hold on to James. As Joaquin said, find your circle. Like I was telling that to somebody today. You have to find your circle, find somebody or find somebodies that you can talk to, right? And remember as James tells us, right, that trust your struggle, because the struggle is the testing of your faith that produces perseverance or produces staying power, right? And then you see that as you grow in your faith, the things that would make you stumble before, you don't stumble on those things anymore. And those things, they're not a temptation anymore. They're not a struggle anymore, right? Because you didn't quit. You didn't give up. You trusted your struggle. You trusted God in the midst of your struggle, right? You have anything to add, Joaquin?
No, that's it. Find your tribe, as the new, that's kind of the word everybody uses now. Find your tribe, find your group, and what Jay said. It is a struggle, and the struggle's okay. Let you know that. If you're struggling, it's okay that you're struggling. But lean on God, not on your own understanding, and find those that you can also lean on to help you walk through that valley of the shadow of death. Boom, boom, boom. So that's it. We're done for the episode. Sorry. I think the chord that we got just finally gave up the ghost. So we're gonna give it its last rites, and then we'll replace it. And next week we should be better. So forgive us, forgive me. As always, we take 2 steps forward, then we got to take a step back. I think Paul Abdul said something about that. So thanks for listening. See you guys next week. As always, I'm Joaquin.
And I'm Jay.
Thanks for listening. Remember to go to the overflowpodcast.com to subscribe to the podcast on all streaming platforms and catch up on all the links of the week. And don't forget to follow our playlist on Spotify.